Your stated reason for being here is to build some form of security. And you're doing the exact opposite. People are being hurt. Families are being torn apart. And long-term Houston residents that put so much into this city, into this economy, into this culture, they're being terrorized. They're being unalived. And that's on you. So I have a message from the community. And I have a message to ICE. Get the fuck out of Houston. Back to you, dope.
ICE raids crazy. ICE raids crazy. You've seen them ICE raids lately. ICE raids crazy. They kidnap men and the ladies. ICE raids crazy. And separate them from they babies. ICE raids crazy. ICE raids crazy, tearing up dreams in the night, kicking down doors, flashing light, causing fright. Mama in the kitchen, baby crying in her arms. Agents storm in, yeah, they sounding their alarm. Who the real criminal when they snatching up the meek? Chains on the innocent, silence on the weak. They call it law, but I call it co-abduction. Ripping souls apart, yeah, that's government corruption. Land of the free, man, that's a contradiction. Cause freedom got conditions in this twisted jurisdiction. White man came, took the land, drew borderlines. Now they calling Mexicans illegal, that's another crime. ICE raids crazy, kidnapping in broad daylight. Separating families, that's wrong, it ain't right. Tears on the pavement, kids with no translation. America preach love, but they practice damnation. False news paint black and brown faces as a threat. But we the hardest workers, bleed sweat, living in debt. Building skyscrapers, mowing lawns and serving plates. The same ones they hate keep America great. It's hypocrisy with badges, patriot disguise. Call it national security, but it's genocide. Stolen land, stolen lives, stolen pride. The truth don't hide, it bleeds from the inside. ICE raids crazy. ICE raids crazy. You've seen them ICE raids lately. ICE raids crazy. They kidnap men and the ladies. ICE raids crazy. And separate them from they babies. ICE raids crazy. ICE raids crazy. Propaganda so sick. Fox News talking lies, playing politics. They say protect the border, but they guarding the ghost. From Tijuana to Texas, it's stolen land coast to coast. You can't deport the people from their native land when your racist flag flew in with a bloody hand. Cages and babies, what kind of nation is that? The cries echo loud, but they turning their backs. If the law is unjust, then justice ain't lawful. A badge on your chest don't make you Godful. They label them illegal, man, that word is obscene. Remember the first these were wigs and they called it the American dream. ICE raids crazy, it's a modern day lynch. History repeats, America don't flinch. Ripping roots from the ground, they call it immigration. It's really reincarnation of colonization. They say we all human, same blood, same beat, but they judge by the border and the color of your feet. No heart, no mercy, no ounce of grace. Just politics and fear in a racist face. From Rio Grande to the California coast, they hunting my people, good people, ghost of the ghost. Black and brown unity, we all grew up. If you don't like it, take your dog ass back to Europe. ICE raids crazy. ICE raids crazy. You've seen them ICE raids lately. ICE raids crazy. They kidnap men and the ladies. Separate them from they babies. ICE raids crazy. ICE raids crazy. ICE raids crazy. You've seen them ICE raids lately. ICE raids crazy. They kidnap men and the ladies. ICE raids crazy. And separate them from they babies. ICE raids crazy.
All right. Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. All right, it's the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General YAHANNA. It is Monday, the history breakdown class, where we break it down line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little, using external references to back up and support internally what is inside of the Bible. All right, so this week, because I have gotten a lot of questions dealing with marriage. That's what we're gonna talk about: the history of marriage, like what it is, what the confines of it is, what the origin is, and what is the world's definition of marriage versus what is the Most High's definition of marriage, right? So if you are on Facebook, make sure that you go ahead and share the class. If you are on YouTube, go ahead and like, share, comment, and subscribe to I.S.U.P.K Deep East Texas, I.S.U.P.K Galveston, I.S.U.P.K Beaumont and Port Arthur, and I.S.U.P.K Houston. Also, if you have any questions, in the famous words of Captain Yazak, the only dumb question is the one that is not asked. So whether it is on topic or off topic, type your questions in the chat and we will get to it amicably, and as T.I. says, expeditiously. You know what I'm saying? So if you have any questions, it doesn't matter if it's on topic or off topic, type it in the chat. Does anybody in the room have any questions? Bayan, do you have any questions? Sapar, you have any questions? Why y'all? He don't got no questions. He is the question. You know what I'm saying? He's the stomp the DJ when it comes to questions. You know what I'm saying? All right. So we're just gonna hop straight into the subject matter of the lesson, the history of marriage. All right. So before we jump into that, quick question, just to the room: what is marriage? What is marriage? Bayan, what is marriage? Yeah, oh dang. Yeah, super trooper. Yeah, just grab both of them, but turn it on. No, bro, ain't no meaning to thing, man. You don't know what marriage? What is marriage, bro? First thing to come to mind, what is marriage? Say it in the mic, brother. They can't hear you online. Say it on the microphone.
When a male and a female lay together.
When a male and a female lay together. That is the correct answer biblically. Get that brother a hand. You know what I'm saying? All right. What are other definitions of marriage? Yeah, sure.
The world definition is like when two people agree and have this big wedding for it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So something they gotta go to the oppressor to obtain.
What are they going to the oppressor to obtain?
Certificate.
A certificate, right? But what is that certificate? Do you know?
You pretty much tell them that they together now.
More or less. Go ahead, Zapar. What you got?
So, like, if I made the modern marriage contract is the binding of two corporations.
Look, that brother is right on it. All right. So we're gonna go through a couple of things before we get to the meat of the matter, right? Okay. So one y'all and Sapar both sent y'all the exact same thing. First, we're gonna go through the history of marriage, the text message that I sent you guys. Whoever wants to read first, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
It's like the history of marriage.
Mm-hmm.
The institution of marriage as a monogamous contract.
As a what?
As a monogamous contract.
As a what?
As a monogamous contract.
So the first thing that you have to understand, the history of marriage first started as a monogamous contract, right? Keep reading.
Number Khan. Began over 4,300 years ago.
All right, so this is not a new thing. Monogamy is not a new thing on the block, right? It started, 4,300 years ago. Keep reading.
In ancient Mesopotamia.
Right? So all the way back during the time, you understand, of Nebuchadnezzar and all of them, Babylon, they had, monogamy marriage contracts then, right? Keep reading.
As a legal instrument.
As a what?
As a legal instrument.
As a what?
As a legal instrument.
All right. So keep that in mind as we start going through these things and we start bringing up terminologies of what a marriage is from a worldly standpoint, right? Keep reading.
For regulating inheritance.
For what?
For regulating inheritance, property, ownership, and family alliances. Historically, it served as a patriarchal tool for controlling female sexuality to ensure legitimate heirs, with monogamy often applied strictly to women, while men often engage in polygamy or informal relationships.
Right. So this was something that was created to control heirship, right? Because back then they would have something that's called a bastard, right? Bayan, do me a favor, look up the definition of what a bastard is. Look up the definition of what a bastard is. No, go to, just go to, you don't have to use Chat GPT. I mean, we actually have a physical dictionary here. So that's what's wrong with y'all kids today. Y'all need to put y'all hands on some paper instead of twiddling your fingers. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm gonna start doing from now on. When I ask for a definition, I'm gonna make y'all do what we did. Go and get the dictionary. We didn't have Google. You know what we had? We had Encyclopedia Britannica. That was Google before Google. Everybody had a set in their house. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And when using trouble in class, you know what they made you do for punishment when you was talking? They made you copy down the dictionary. You understand? Yeah, we need to get back to this. That's the reason why these boys, these kids is dumb. Yeah. They got no vocabulary. When I found out what a hermaphrodite was, I was calling everybody hermaphrodite when I was a kid. Imagine a 5-year-old saying, "Shut up, you hermaphrodite." Like, what is that? Look it up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Teacher tell you, since you want to talk so much, you understand, I want you to copy the whole T in the dictionary. I want you to copy the whole T. Start from TA and go to TZ. All right. So what is the definition of a bastard?
Bastard primarily refers to a person born to parents not married to each other.
Right. So most people commonly think that a bastard is someone that does not have a father or someone that does not know who their father is, even though that is a definition of a bastard. But the original use of the term was a child that was born out of wedlock or an illegitimate heir, right? So that was the purpose of a marriage contract. So if your daddy went tiptoeing down on Bissonnette, you understand, he knocked up a hooker, that child don't have no legitimacy, you understand, to his 40 acres and a mule, right? He's a bastard, right? So that was the whole, that is the origin of the purpose. It is to protect the legitimacy of the line and the family trust, right? So no bastard, no matter how much, the father may love the hooker, right? The $2 hoe, you know what I'm saying? Sally ride. If she wasn't a legitimate wife, so the child had no access to heirship, right? Okay, keep reading, Sapar.
Khan. Origins and evolution of marriage contracts, property and inheritance. The shift from hunter-gatherer societies to agriculture 10,000 years ago drove the need for structured marriage, as it ensured property was passed down within a legitimate family unit.
As I just said, keep reading.
Mesopotamian roots. The earliest contracts, roughly between 2300 BCE, define marriage as a house.
As a what?
As a house.
As a what?
As a house.
Right? So that's why, you know, in the school you hear us speak as what you would most people would say, like the old ways, like the house of BLACKWATCH, the house of YAHANNA, you know, the house of Bayan, the house of Sapar, right? And we're all a part of great houses: Judah, Manasseh, Issachar, Naphtali, Asher, Reuben, right? Gad, right? These are all houses or tribes. Okay, keep reading.
Come. As a house with strict rules concerning dowries, bride prices, and servile penalties for
severe penalties.
Salakia, and severe penalties for infidelities, often treating women reproductive capability as property.
Right. So, and also the purpose of it was to when a man came calling upon a woman, that is an old term for someone that wants to court, right? To call upon a woman, you would have to go to her father, right? And the father would require a dowry, or he would just say, hell no, you can't marry my daughter. You understand? That was the whole purpose of it, to make sure that his daughter had a legitimate suitor. But no, we come down in this society, we think that we know better. Your daddy knows if the dude that you trying to talk to, for lack of a better word, is a hoe. You know what I'm saying? In H-Town standards. You know what I'm saying? You know, I can't say the whole vernacular, but we're gonna call him a Han Solo. You know what I'm saying? A whole Negro. You know what I'm saying? So but that was the purpose for it. Your father has better understanding of men than you do, right? Same thing. It's not just on the male side. The mother's not gonna let her son just marry any scallywag. No, baby, no, that ain't the one. You know what I'm saying? Just focus on your schooling right now. It's gonna be plenty of time. Focus on getting your education. You know what I'm saying? Getting your mind right. Them girls gonna be there, but that ain't the one. I know. She just has your heart in high school. You know, you thought your first love in high school, that's going to be your one and only. You understand? Until, you know, she ran into a nigga with a car named Tony. You know what I'm saying? and you was walking. You understand? Yeah, that love interest changed so quick. You understand? So these are the reasons for monogamous marriage contracts in antiquity. It was to protect the house or the family trust, right? And to block out illegitimate heirs, right? So, and as we get into the scriptures, you're going to understand that that is wicked as hell, right? If you didn't vet her, that's your fault. You understand? That don't got nothing to do with that baby or that child, right? But we're going to get into that. Keep reading, Sapar.
Come. Patriarchal control. Monogamy was often viewed as moral standard, but it originated to ensure children were legitimate.
Say it again.
A moral standard, but it originated to ensure children were legitimate.
Right. So essentially saying, no, that child from that heifer ain't gonna be an heir with my child. You know what I'm saying? You sully in the name by bringing that trash in this household, right? So the whole purpose was to control. It's all for control, right? Has nothing to do with love. Marriage as the ideal that you think of in today's society has nothing to do with love. It has even marriage in the truth. It really should. Love should be the bonus. It should be the icing on the cake, right? You should vet the person, make sure the person has good health. Get that my chart information, please. Get that my chart information. That should be one of the first conversations that y'all have when y'all get on the phone, right? Talk about credit. You understand? Talk about, education. What are your plans? What are your dreams? What are your goals? What are your aspirations? What is your plan? Right? Don't just be talking about, I like the way that booty sit in them jeans. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, I just love it when you hug me, it just makes me feel like, ooh. You know what I'm saying? All of that is irrelevant. It's a good thing to have, but when all of the looks and the body and the emotions fade, because best believe you can love and hate someone in the same day, right? One of my favorite rappers, Benny the Butcher, he said, you want to cry in a Honda or Maybach? You choose. You know what I'm saying? You gonna cry. You know what I'm saying? It's a part of the journey, All right. Keep reading, Sapar.
Kadamakan. Standard, but it originated to ensure children were legitimate, preventing other men's children from inheriting a husband's wealth. Marriage as a social and legal contract, alliance over romance.
Say that one more time, brother.
Kadamakan. Marriage as a social and legal contract, alliance over romance.
Right. So that's the first thing you have to understand. Like, marriage, a lot of times was used to stop wars. Right. If the Franks were going to war with the Brits, they would marry their son and daughter to sully the war and to bind them in to become allies. Right. Also, to align, I mean, even today, like the Boule, they still do this, right? They don't want their daughter to just marry any type of dude. If I'm a doctor, I want my if we're family doctors, I want my child to marry a family of lawyers, right? So it's about creating alliances, right? That's why like shows like Game of Thrones is so popular, right? Other shows like what is it? House of Dragons, right? Even when you start dealing with Harry Potter back in the day, right? All these different houses, right? You could a person that was born in the witchery side in Harry Potter couldn't marry a muggle, right? A muggle is a normal human, right? You couldn't mix bloods, right? It was considered to be frowned upon because there's a reason for that. And we're going to get into that, right? Okay, keep reading.
For millennia, marriage was a transaction between families to build wealth, maintain political stability.
Right. So a marriage was a transaction. It had nothing to do with love. It had nothing to do with how you made me feel. A lot of times in arranged marriages back in the day, wives hated their husbands. You understand? Because you wasn't allowed to pick who you liked. Who you liked 9 times out of 10 wasn't beneficial for the family. Now, if it just happened to be that way, great, right? But this is how things were set up in the world, right? So we're going to go over how things were set up in the world versus how things are set up in the Bible, right? Because it's supposed to be God's country, a country that says, in God we trust. But everything that we do is ungodly in this country, especially when it comes to marriage. Marriage today is extremely wicked and evil, right? That's crazy. That brother said, women today out here giving out free trials. Men too. Men too, brother. You understand? It's test drive central out here. You understand? You feel me? So all right. So I sent some screenshots over. So this is coming from the Black's Law Dictionary. Right. So I want you to read the first two paragraphs of the definition of marriage from the Black's Law Dictionary for me. Yeah, the white ones. Mm-hmm. So it should be one at the very top. It should say marriage by itself in the top left.
Okay, it's like it's a marriage.
Yeah, so started the one on page 33084.
Gonna come, sir. What's that? Okay, you say you want to start at the very top?
Yeah, where it says marriage.
Talk about marriage. The legal union of a couple as a husband and wife. The essential of a valid marriage, or parties legally capable of contracting to marry, mutual consent or agreement, and an actual contraction in
contracting.
It's like an actual contracting in the form prescribed by law. Marriage has important consequences.
Important what?
Important consequences.
Important what?
Important consequences.
Right. So you notice as you're reading, it says nothing about love or how a person makes them feel. Right. It says law. The key adjectives and nouns that are used are law, contracting, and consequences. Right. Keep reading.
And I'm going in many areas of the law, such as torts, criminal law, evidence, debtor, creditor, relations.
Right. So this is the first thing that I want you to understand, right? So in marriage, in law, it is a debtor and a creditor relationship, because that marriage certificate creates a bond within the union, right? Which is because it's supposed to unite two estates together. You know, the woman's supposed to have some type of trust, the man's supposed to have some type of trust, and then that's why when you become one, it's important to know what a person's debts are, because you absorb their debts, right? Keep reading.
Then I'm gonna come property and contracts. Also term matrimony, conjugal union. Conjugal union.
Right. So conjugal union means sex. Right. Keep reading. Go to the next paragraph.
It has frequently been said by the courts and even by legislators that marriage is a civil contract. But to conclude from these statements that marriage has all or even many of the incidents of an ordinary private contract would be a grave error. In fact, these statements to the effect that marriage is a civil contract will be found upon examination to have been used only for the purpose of expressing the idea that marriage in the American states is a civil and not a religious institution.
Say that part one more time.
The idea that marriage in the American states is a civil and not a religious institution.
Right. So when you get married in the United States of America, it has nothing to do with God. Right? It has nothing to do with following the law, statutes, and commandments. Nothing. Right? It is not a religious constitution at all whatsoever. Right? Keep reading.
Or that in some states mutual consent alone without formal celebrations is sufficient to constitute a valid marriage
Mm-hmm.
known as common law marriage,
Mm-hmm.
or that it is true in all states that mutual consent of the parties is essential,
Mm-hmm.
even in the case of the ceremonial marriage.
All right. So I want you to drop down to, let's see, clandestine. Is it clandestine marriage? Yeah. Read the definition of the clandestine marriage.
Clandestine marriage, a marriage that rests merely on the agreement of the parties. A marriage entered into
You
a
got, no. That number is important. So between parties, it says two.
clandestine marriage, a marriage that rests merely on the agreement of the parties. Two,
Mm-hmm.
a marriage entered into a secret way
Mm-hmm.
as one so
Solemnized.
solemnized
Mm-hmm.
by an unauthorized person,
By what? Mm-hmm.
without all required formalities.
Mm-hmm.
See fleet.
All right, so drop down to fleet marriage. It's on the last one I sent you. The last page. Damn.
Fleet marriage.
Yeah, on 3086. It's the second paragraph.
Oh, got it. It's
Mm-hmm.
like a fleet marriage. Hist, a clandestine ceremonial marriage performed in the 17th or 18th century
Mm-hmm.
in the Fleet prison.
In a what?
In the Fleet prison
Keep reading.
in London
Mm-hmm.
by a chaplain who had been imprisoned for debt.
Mm-hmm.
A clandestine ceremonial marriage performed by unscrupulous in uh
Itinerant.
itinerant clergymen in the area in London.
So basically, this is somebody that's not a certified priest.
I need some glasses.
Right. Keep reading.
Perfor- uh, in London near a Fleet prison.
Mm-hmm.
Parliament attempted to stop the practice, but it was until the statute of 26 GEO2 chapter 33 declaring marriages performed outside public chapel or churches to be void and punishable as a felony.
All right. Now go back to that first page. We're gonna read two more. We're gonna read the definition of what a common law marriage is, and then what's the other one that I wanted? Yeah, this is the common law marriage, and we'll hop into the lesson.
Common law marriages, a marriage that takes legal effect without license or ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
When two people, it's like when two people capable
Of marrying.
It's like capable of marrying live together as husband and wife,
Mm-hmm.
intend to be married,
Mm-hmm.
and hold themselves out to the others as a married couple.
Mm-hmm.
The common law marriage traces its roots to the English ecclesiastical courts.
That's a very interesting use of a word. They use ecclesiastical courts. Interesting. Keep reading.
Ecclesiastical courts, which until 1753 recognized a kind of informal marriage known as sponsila per verba de presentia, which was entered into which entered into without ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
Today, common law marriage is which is the full equivalent of a ceremonial marriage,
Mm-hmm.
is authorized in 11 states and in the District of Columbia.
All right. So when it says ecclesiastical, does anybody know what that word ecclesiastical means?
Ecclesiastical.
It says ecclesiastical courts. What does the word ecclesiastical mean?
It's like it's isn't that something dealing with the Catholic Church?
Look it up. Let's not guess. Let's look it up. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna look up two things: what the definition of ecclesiastical and what is an ecclesiastical court. So who has the definition of ecclesiastical? Anybody? Go ahead, one y'all.
The definition, the definition of ecclesiastical, relating to the Christian church or its clergy.
Right. So dealing with the Catholic Church, right? So what is an ecclesiastical court?
Ecclesiastical court is a tribunal set up by a religious authorities to deal with disputes among clerics or with spiritual matters involving either clerics or laymen.
All right. So the reason and the origin of this comes from is because we would have counsel amongst the tribes. Every tribe had a chief or chief elders amongst their tribe, right? This is where this comes from. This is where the Catholic Church copied these things from. And it copied it from our culture, the same culture that Jethro advised Moses to set up, to have captains of thousands, captains of hundreds, captains of 50s, captains of 10s, right? That was the that is what an ecclesiastical court is, or a tribunal, right? Okay, now we know according to the world that marriage is a contract. It has nothing to do with love. It's about alliance. It is about obscuring bastards from the family line, and then it's also about protecting the trust or the wealth of the husband or the man, right? We're gonna find out according to scripture, does that line up to what God says, right? Because they took certain precepts from the scriptures, because they have ecclesiastical courts and tribunals that you were supposed to go before, but instead you go before a judicial court instead of a spiritual father, which you're supposed to go in front of, right? All right. So somebody give me Ecclesiastes. I'm not sorry, Ecclesiastes, Exodus chapter 22. Let me pull it up for them online. Let's go to pull up the King James. You're gonna go to verse 16. Let me pull it up so they can follow you online.
Start from verse 1.
No, you're gonna start at verse 16. Let me pull it up for them online. All right. When you got it, go ahead and read it.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 22, verse 16. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife.
Say that again.
And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife.
Keep reading. Verse 17.
Verse 17. If her father utterly refuse to give her unto him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins.
All right. So it don't matter if you propose. It don't matter if you got down on one knee. It don't matter if you went to her. You're supposed to go to her father, but it doesn't matter. So if you go out to the club, you understand, you have a one-night stand, guess what, that's your wife. You go down there on Bissonnette, you understand, and you pay for it, guess what, that's your wife. You understand? You can't taste the milk and neglect the cow. It don't work like that. So according to the Bible, sex is marriage. Go ahead. You had your hand on support?
So like I was just reading what we just read. So it seems like is common law more is it lawful in the eyes of the Most High than getting a marriage contract?
Absolutely.
Okay, because I read what the ecclesiastical definition. That seemed like that's more of the way of it.
So the reason why they have to call it ecclesiastical because it's dealing with Christianity, and Christianity takes their culture from our culture, right? So they have a likeness that's similar to godliness, but they aren't godly, right? They take the things that benefit them and throw away the things that don't. Right? It doesn't benefit a man to stay with a woman that he didn't choose wisely, and he just laid with her for a night, and he wakes up and finds out that she's a dragon. Right? So the Christian church will be like, oh, that's not your wife, brother. You know, you didn't get a marriage contract. You didn't come and bring her before all of your family. We didn't have a ceremony for her. You didn't do it the right way. That ain't you. You don't got to worry about that, huh? That ain't your wife. You understand? That's just ride, Sally, ride. You understand? Go ahead, support. So, I got you, Bayan.
So it's like getting married by the courts is more like I say, it's more of a merger or like a business venture. Like
it's an alliance.
Right.
Right. Now, granted, when you're courting, you should have that mindset. You shouldn't just because a brother for your sister, just because a brother is tall, dark, and handsome, that's not the mark. That shouldn't just be your only mark. You should look at his father, look at his mother. You understand? It's 9 times out of 10, when you get older, that's what you're gonna be dealing with, right? You know, when things start when gravity start taking hold. You understand? And everything start going down south. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, they're not keeping up with their weight. Do they have any family illnesses that are common in their family? Right? Does the person come from a broken home? Right? Now, does a broken home disqualify someone for being a good husband or a good wife? No, it doesn't. But it's going to let you know that person is deficient in examples of either what a husband is to be or what a wife is to be, because they didn't see that growing up in the household, right? These are all psychological factors that you have to take into place when you're choosing a mate, right? So, you know, Bayan, Slaki, you had your hand up. What did you want to say? Go ahead, say it. On the mic, brother. They can't hear you online, huh? Go ahead, brother. I want to hear it.
I was gonna say, and then next thing you know, Pastor gonna be trying to he gonna be trying to slide in her life.
Absolutely. Listen, let me tell you something, Mark. This is how you know that it's not about love. Does anybody know who Steven Jackson is? Stack 5. You know what that is? You know who that is? All right, so Steven Jackson is a famous basketball player. Currently, he has a podcast called All the Smoke, right? So on the backside of his career, he was engaged to his baby mama, right? So just like most brothers that are in the league, he had a prenuptial agreement. And the agreement was, and okay, when it comes to prenuptial agreements, the one thing that you have to understand is before a prenuptial agreement is drawn up, both parties have to agree on the terms. So there's never actual real situation when a person says, I was blindsided by the prenup. No, you weren't. Because you both had to sit before a lawyer and do something that's called mitigation, right? He has his terms, you have your terms. You know what I'm saying? And y'all have to both set your terms, and then the lawyer, he's writing down these terms, and then they type it up. So if someone says, you know, we didn't get married because he tried or she tried to blindside me with a prenup, that's bullshit, right? So Steven Jackson loves his baby mama, you know, had the lawyer draw out the prenup, you know, it's 3 months before the wedding. Hey, did you sign the prenup? Oh, I'm gonna get to it. You know, I'm just been stressed out about the wedding and all this stuff or whatever. You know, I love you. You know, I love you too, baby. Just make sure you get to it. Month before the wedding. You understand? Did you sign the prenup? I'm gonna get to it. Right? You understand? You know, but Steven Jackson knows because he takes care of a lot of people. He takes care of his mother, his father, his sister, his brothers, right? He employs a lot of people, and all of these things come out of his businesses. So he's trying to protect and make sure that his house is protected, right? So it got all the way up to the day of the wedding. You know, him his partners, Bibby, what's my other boy? Short dude that went and played Marbury. You know what I'm saying? Marbury at the wedding. You understand? He got Bobby Valentino to sing as they walking in. You understand? They getting all dressed and fly. And they in the back room getting ready to walk out. And he like, hold up. Where's the babysitter? You know what I'm saying? You go talk to the babysitter, which is his godmother. Did she sign a prenup? She said no. You understand? He cut off the wedding. The pastor comes in, like you saying, right? Because she didn't want his pastor to marry them. She wanted a pastor that she chose. The pastor comes in there. Hey, look, brother, you know, it's all about love. You know, I don't even, you know, believe in prenuptial agreements. You understand? You know, it should just be about love. Just go through it and y'all work it out together on the back end, right? But Stack 5, even though that's technically spiritually already his wife, the mindset that he has is the mindset that you should have when you're courting, both men and women. You should have the mindset, I have to protect the name of my house. Like General Hyman said, you know, brothers and sisters that's coming to Passover, right? It'd be a shame for you to embarrass your husband. It'd be a shame for you to embarrass your wife because you don't know how to control yourself, because you're an alcoholic, you're a drunk, you know, you're a drug addict, you're not taking your medication. But you would know this if you ask these questions before getting married, instead of just looking at it as something that I casually just want to lie with. Oh, that'll look good. You know what I'm saying? That'll feel good. No, you need to plan for the things that happen when it gets worse, because it ain't gonna always be good. What happens if that person has a stroke? You understand? And only half of their body works. You have to take care of that person. What happens if they get into a car accident and they become a paraplegic? You got to take care of that person on both ends, right? So these are the questions that you have to ask yourself, right? Go ahead, Sapar.
So like with that saying, it brings up a question I just thought about, like love. So it's better to love your significant other versus to love them versus being in love with them. Does that make sense, sir?
Okay, well, what is the definition of love?
I mean, as biblically, like, you know,
are you talking about emotion, or are you talking about biblically?
I'm talking about like emotionally. Like it's better to love your woman versus being in love. Like isn't
Okay,
like
so
being
when
in
you
love
say
like a spell? Or
okay, when you say love and in love, what are you defining that as? That'll help me better answer your question.
well,
So what is so you said is it better to love your significant other than to be in love with them? Okay, so what
right,
is your definition of love?
right. I mean, as in love, like doing like what you need to do to keep the union going versus like doing everything that she might want to please her.
Okay, and then what is in love?
Right. That's what I mean by being in love. Like, like, oh, that's my girl. I want to make her happy, this and that every day versus
Okay, so but you said it is better to love your spouse or significant other versus being in love with them.
right.
So are you saying love is you're talking about being duty? Are you talking about in duty? And
Right.
in love is feeling?
Right. Like doing your duty towards her. Like doing
Yes.
your duty towards the family, like making, y'all both bringing money inside the house. So y'all both doing everything to keep everything going versus, try to do everything to make her happy when it might not even make her happy. It might make her see you as, weak, maybe.
I'm gonna tell you something, brother, and I'm gonna tell a lot of brothers something that you probably didn't know. Your father never told you to do everything that your woman wants you to do. She thinks that you're a simp. She thinks that you're weak and that she can walk all over you and control you. Now, there is a type of woman that wants a type of man like that, but brother, that is not being a man. What you got, but
Then a lot of time it's crazy because before a woman even allow you to get far enough, she'll give you little test, like she'll give you
she'll give you red flags for sure.
not just that, but she'll test you to see how you handle like her bullshit.
Absolutely. And not only she's testing you, you should test her. That is the whole purpose of being in a courtship. To test one another, right? Captain Tazariak famously says you should never marry a woman that you never gotten into an argument with, because you need to know what you're dealing with. You need to know if she's verbally abusive, sis. You need to know if he's verbally abusive, brother. You need to know if she's physically abusive, brother. Sister, you need to know if he's physically abusive. You understand? You need to know if she's passive aggressive. You need to know if he's passive aggressive. You need to know if either one of you can handle conflict well. Go ahead, Bayan.
Not only that, but you got women out there. If y'all do get in a conflict, she going back to her ex Tyrone for the night.
Hold on, say that last part one time.
Like it's some women out there. If y'all get into like a conflict, she gonna go back to her ex for the night and then come back in the morning like nothing happened.
That's something that you need to know. That is great intel to know before you lay with her. Right? Real talk. Because, brother, you won. You know what I'm saying? The moment she leave and from an argument and go lay with her ex, brother, you won. You know what I'm saying? That is the last laugh, huh? And you shouldn't be. And when she try and call you, you should block her. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. I got a brother that asked a question. He said, if I may, sir, why didn't the scripture say it was his wife after he lied with her? It's like, sir, if I may, why didn't the scripture say it was his wife after he lied with her? Because, brother, it's called consummation, right? Okay, so since we're dealing with law, one of the things that he read, okay, so in I believe it's in all, how many, it's more than 50, is it, how many states is it now? Is it still 50 or is it 51? Okay, it's 50, right? So yeah, I thought it was 50. I thought it went up. I think it's 52. Yeah. Hold on, let me see. Hold on. If I'm not, hold on. That's good. That's a good question. Oh yeah. So contingents is 48. Non-contingents US is the 49th and the 50th state, which is Hawaii and Alaska. Yeah. Okay. I knew I wasn't tripping. I mean, we got that. I mean, when we was in school, it was Gulf of Mexico. It's Gulf of America now. You go on Google, it say Gulf of America. It don't say Gulf of Mexico no more. That's crazy. You know, he just with a pen, yeah, this is Gulf of America now. It's mine. You know what I'm saying? It ain't yours no more, Mexico. It's mine. You know what I'm saying? It's my waters, right? Okay. So in all 50 states, if you marry someone, and let's say y'all go on a honeymoon and the marriage isn't consummated by copulation, which is a SAT word for sex, right? And you come back and you say, I don't want to be married to this woman. We didn't even have sex. The marriage is automatically annulled, which lets you know that you just signing the contract isn't enough. It has to be sealed with consummation. It has to be sealed with a spiritual binding contract, which is sex, which lets you know that sex is marriage, right? Nothing is sealed without the consummation. So if you go out and you go party, you get drunk, you take a woman home and you copulate with her, that's your wife, all right? You just got common law married. In the eyes of God, you didn't broke it. Now you got to buy it. You understand? Would you want another woman that your brother didn't seen the titties? Absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? Would you sisters, would you want a brother, you understand, that you haven't vetted? A lot of times that's what's going on now. The reason why you're unhappy in your marriages because you didn't take the time to get to know the person. You understand? Sex is, you know, if it's a good time, 45 minutes to an hour. You understand? Y'all, if y'all doing more than that, y'all doing a lot. I don't got time for all of that. You know what I'm saying? 45 minutes to an hour. Max is what you get. I got stuff to do. Slack you. You know what I'm saying? But okay, so after that, what's next? Y'all just sit there and talk about what? Baseball? Right? But if you took the time to get to know the person, their interests, you know, how they keep their house, that's a big thing. Can she cook? Can he change a tire? You understand? I mean, does he know how to change oil if need be? Can she make bump that? Can she make biscuits? I want to know, can she make biscuits from scratch? That's what I want to know. You know what I'm saying? Can she make a mean spaghetti when the rubber hits the road? Because you know that's a struggle meal in the hood, spaghetti. Can she make a mean spaghetti? Can she make pancakes from scratch? You know what I'm saying? Everyone one y'all said she can start an argument from scratch. You know what I'm saying? So, but these are things that you want to find out. Because once you lie with her, it's too late. You understand? You know, the words Dave Chappelle, got you. You know, slack you. You know what I'm saying? You know, all right. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to he had another question. The brother said, why endow her to be his wife if she knew her already? Retype that again, Ga'ala. But if you're asking in verse 17, it says, okay, read verse 16. Verse 16 says, and if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed, so basically you bump her down. You know what I'm saying? You got a good mouthpiece game. You know what I'm saying? You entice her and you lie with her. You shall surely endow her to be your wife. What does the word endow mean? Let's look that word up. What is the word endow? Go ahead. Yes.
I think the first question he was talking about, why does it not call her the wife at that point? Why do you got to endow her? Follow-up question is kind of similar to the first one.
It says, if I may, sir, why didn't the scripture say it was if I may, sir, why didn't the scripture say it was his wife after he lied with her? Well, that's not what it's. So the scripture says, and if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed, so you talking to her, you bumping her down. You know what I'm saying? You're giving good mouthpiece game to her. You're giving her everything that you want to hear. Then it says, and lie with her, that he shall surely endow her to be his wife. What does the word endow mean? I got you, Marcus. I know you about to break it down. Sabar, look at what does the word endow mean?
Endow, it said, means to be provided, equipped, or furnished with a particular talent, quality, or asset, often naturally or by birth.
Right. So endow means to provide. That means at that point, she is your wife. You are to provide for her as she is your wife. Provision, right? So to endow for someone as a wife, it means that that is your wife, right? Go ahead, Malak. If you had something you wanted to say.
Yeah. So like if I could, and another thing, so when you so they gave the definition, but the biblical definition of endow, they use mahar, which is H4117.
Mm-hmm.
It says to obtain or acquire by paying, purchase, price, or give a dowry,
Right.
or to obtain in exchange.
Which backs up what the next verse says: if her father utterly refused to give her unto him, he must pay money according to the dowry of a virgin.
Right. So the question, so when he asking why doesn't the scripture just call her a wife, a lot of times we think this is magic.
Right.
Like this marriage isn't a private thing, it's a public thing.
Absolutely.
So you have to go to the father and pay that dowry.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And that's going to be a public thing because everyone must know you're married. It's not like today where you can just hook up with somebody and go back to work and nobody knows y'all messing around.
Sneaky link.
Sneaky, exactly. because sex in Israelite culture isn't private.
Right.
Everyone knows who you're having sex with.
Absolutely.
It's just in today's society, it's secret because you're not trying to keep this person.
Right. You don't want to be held accountable.
You don't want to be held accountable. But in our culture, I need to know you're having sex with her so I don't try to have sex with her.
Right.
Because if I have sex with her and didn't know that she was married, then you'll be causing me to sin.
Right.
So when it's not just going to automatically say it's the wife, you have to go and make this a public declaration thing. To answer the brother's question.
So imagine you humbling his daughter and you got to go to her. It's like, excuse me, sir. Are you Kendendra's father, sir? Yeah. What about her? Me and your daughter, we had sex last night. What? You did what with my daughter last night? I had sex with your daughter last night, and you know, she's technically my wife today. Are you okay with that? What you mean, am I okay? Why would I be okay with it now? Why do you want to come to me now and ask me if I'm okay with the fact that you made my daughter your wife behind my back? No, I'm not okay with it. Matter of fact, I don't think that you should marry her. Then you have to pay him the dowry of a virgin. You understand? Because the father may know that you, Salakia, are a piece of shit. The name of your house in the streets can be terrible. Because we all know when we was growing up, our parents would always tell us, when you go sit on that corner, when you wait on that bus, don't you go by this house. You understand? Don't you hang around with them boys on that corner. Man, and John. You understand? Don't you hang around them, because that house has a horrible reputation, right? This is the purpose, and this is why you need to put this hard instilled in your children's mind. You are not to pick your boyfriend. You got to put it in today's terms. You can't have a boyfriend. If you want a man, I'll choose him for you. If you think that a man is worth your time, you bring him to me. I'll tell you if he's worth your time. And he'll be like, absolutely not. Even a horrible father can pick out a horrible nigga. He knows that's a horrible nigga. You know what I'm saying? No, he like me. I mean, you can't stand me, right? He just like me. You understand? You know, we don't get along. You definitely not gonna get along with him because he cop from the same person I cop from. We got the same cocaine dealer. But did he tell you he do cocaine? You understand? I saw him at the strip club the other night with old Lucille. You understand? Lucille been at the Pink Flamingo since I was his age. Her ain't he? You understand? But these are the things that you need to know, right? And if you don't ask the right questions, you're never going to find them out. It shouldn't be about how the person makes you feel. A person can make you feel in heaven for 45 minutes and cause hell for the rest of your life. Because you did not ask the right questions. You didn't do the right background checks. You didn't go and sit with her mother. You didn't go and sit with her father. You didn't go with them to the family reunion to see what type of cloth this person is cut from. Right? Okay, let's go to the next scripture that backs up what it says in Exodus 22. Let's go to Genesis 29 and 16. Go there with you. Genesis. Real talk. Why you playing? 29, and you're going to start at verse 16. We got to go ahead and read it.
The book of Genesis, chapter 29 and verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
And Laban had two daughters. The name of the elder was Leah,
Mm-hmm.
and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored.
Mm-hmm.
And Jacob loved Rachel and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel, thy younger daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 19. And Laban said, it is better that I give her to thee than that I should give her to another man. Abide with me. Verse 20. And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel.
Right. So now, one thing you got to understand, a father's dowry is whatever the hell he say it is. Right. So let's say, for instance, I got a daughter and Sapar come to me, is like, hey, bro, my son, he want to court your daughter for marriage. What can we come to an agreement on? I was like, shoot, he got to cut my yard every Saturday for 2 years for free before he can even marry my daughter. 2 years, every Saturday, even if the yard don't need cutting. You understand? I want him here every Saturday. He gonna be like this every Saturday. I gotta prove my love. You understand? It can be whatever if I think somebody's son is a Han Solo. That's what that's gonna be the name for the day. For somebody that isn't a good suitor, I'll do something. I was like, okay, you want to marry my daughter? I need you to cut my yard with scissors every day for 6 months. Because you're not going to be able to cut my yard in one day with scissors. So I need you to cut my yard every day for 2 hours with scissors. I mean, if you're able to accomplish that, you know what I'm saying? You know, you can marry my daughter. That's an impossible task. You're not going to be able to cut my yard in 2 hours with a pair of scissors. It's physically impossible. It's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Unless you got like some automated scissors, you know what I'm saying, that you created that's motorized. You know what I'm saying? But no, I want you on that ground, you know, making sure it's leveled, you know. Yeah, you know. So whatever crazy idea a father has for a dowry, you know, you got to fulfill it. You understand? And the crazier the dowry, 9 times out of 10, the father doesn't want you to marry his daughter. Go ahead.
If I could, and speaking of that, we see an example of that with Saul and David.
Absolutely.
Because he for sure didn't want him to marry her daughter. That's why he said his daughter was what 100 foreskins of Philistine foreskins. And David brought back 200.
Now I don't know if y'all know what foreskins are, but foreskins are the skin that covers up the anteater. It is the uncircumcised skin on the penis. You know, so you got to know in order to get that, you got to kill a man, because a man ain't going to be like, hey, circumcise me. It's not going to happen. So he said he wanted I want 100 foreskins. That is a crazy dowry, something that is not possible, because in order to get a foreskin of a man, you're going to have to kill him. You understand? And David brought back 200 and laid him at his feet, trickling with blood.
Good night.
You know what I'm saying? You feel me? So the crazier the dowry lets you know that the father does not want you to marry his daughter. But if by some miracle you achieve it, the Lord was with you, brother, because I don't know how you cut my yard front and back in 2 hours with some scissors, but it looked perfect. And I looked on the camera. You was out there. Go ahead, BLACKWATCH.
And what it does show is their commitment for their brother that wants their woman too.
Right.
So it could show that the father, like even when you look at Jacob, I think he was getting ready to take us there anyway, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll just wait till you get.
No. Okay, yeah. Keep reading.
Come. And they seemed unto him but a few days, for the love he had to her. Verse 21. And Jacob said unto Laban, give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go into her. And verse 22. And Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah, his daughter, and brought her to him. And he went in unto her.
What does that mean when it say he went in unto her?
I mean, he had sex.
Yeah, they copulated, brother.
Right.
They had sex. You understand? Keep reading.
Verse 24. And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah, his maid, for an handmaid. And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And he said unto Laban, what is this thou hast done unto me? Did not I serve thee with thee for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me? And Laban said, it must not be so done in our country, to give the younger before the firstborn.
Right. So, but if Jacob would have inspected the box before he went in the box, he would have known that ain't the box that he wanted.
Good night.
You understand? If he would have never laid with Leah, you understand? That lets you know that party was crazy. Because for him to go into the tent and ain't know that's the woman that he wanted, that boy was live. You know what I'm saying? That boy was going off that wine. Go ahead.
Dude, she must have had one of those little face masks on.
Oh, the veil?
Right.
The veil. She came in there like, I'm a genie in a box. Keep reading.
What a God.
You read Mardi Gras in the tent for real.
Good night. Verse 27. Fulfill her week and we will give thee this also for the service which thou shalt serve with me yet 7 years other. Verse 28, and Jacob did so, fulfill her week, and he gave him Rachel, his daughter, to wife also. And Laban gave to Rachel his daughter, Bilhah, his handmaid, to be her maid. Verse 30, and he went in also unto Rachel, and he loved also Rachel more than Leah.
All right. So now this is something that I want you to also recognize, right, in the scripture, right? Now, when he gave Leah to Jacob, what did he do? What was going on? When Jacob went in unto Leah, what was taking place?
So like it was a ceremony.
It's a ceremony. It was a huge party going on, right? He invited all types of people over there, right? When Jacob married Rachel, what was going on? Nothing. It wasn't no big party. You understand? After he fulfilled his week or honeymoon with Leah, he just gave him Rachel. So you have two types of marriages going on. You got the ceremony marriage, and then you got the marriage without the ceremony.
A common law marriage.
A common law marriage, right? But the thing that made the marriage is the same thing: sex.
Right.
It wasn't the ceremony that made them married, because Rachel didn't get the big ceremony because it doesn't say it. He just gave her to her after because it would have said they threw another big party, right? So you have two types of situations for the confines of marriage going on, but there's only one consistent thing: sex. That is what marriage is, right? And Malakwa, you had a point that you want to touch on with Jacob.
Yeah, just what you were speaking about overall when it comes down to a father picking or choosing a man for their daughter. He knew Laban. I mean, it's like he knew Jacob. He knew Jacob was a good man.
Right.
And he did two things that I believe now, being a father of daughters, that is honorable. Because the daughter that Jacob wanted was the youngest daughter. And he said that he didn't want to give away the youngest daughter, without, and leaving the older daughter without a man.
Right.
And I can see that. Your youngest daughter get married and your oldest daughter hasn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a father, you wouldn't want to have to console your daughter like that.
Yeah, like
why don't nobody want it? Right.
Yeah.
And if you really want this woman, you'll work 7 more years. And that shows that sister that this brother, will do what he have to do to stay with you. Now, it's not gonna always be happy and always be perfect times. But a man that's willing to work 14 years to marry you, that's a brother who's gonna be, willing to do whatever he needs to do to make sure that this marriage stays, afloat.
Absolutely. And that goes Ga'ala. He asked a question. He's like, if I may, sir, do we still pay the fathers a dowry? Absolutely. What you mean?
The part when you read if he utterly refused to give the daughter after he had sex with her, and the father utterly refused, and then he paid a dowry of virgins, that's the father paying. Because now you're taking his wife back. When you lay with that woman, she becomes yours. When that father refuses to give you his property or your property back, and he wants his daughter,
I see what you're saying.
Then he pays you to get his daughter back. Now, I don't know how many fathers would do that,
right?
Because now you can't give her away because she's been with another man.
Right.
So it's not an honorable thing to do.
Right.
But that will go to show, like, if you're that angry and that disappointed of your daughter choosing a man without coming to you, or a man taking your daughter without coming to you, then maybe you would do something like that.
Right.
But it's the father who pays.
He was asking, do we still pay of the father? Like, say for instance, like if I come the right way to court your daughter, do we still pay dowry?
Oh yeah,
absolutely. You know what I'm saying? And if the sister doesn't have a father, a brother can stand in, or no sweat, or the camp leader stands in, or the general stands in. You understand? As a surrogate place for the father, right? You understand? So it is important that we follow our old ways, our old customs. They're set in place for a reason. They're set in place to protect the house, right? Because no mother is going to give her son to a trifling woman, and no father is going to give his daughter to a Han Solo. It's just not going to happen. You understand? All right, let's go to the next scripture. I think y'all got the idea that sex is marriage, right? Okay, now let's go to, if a brother has more than one wife, right? Now, before we get to that, we have an understanding that the world's definition of marriage compared to what the Bible's definition of marriage are completely different things, right? So the world will have you believe, unless we sign this contract, all your children that you have with this woman is illegitimate, right? That's crap. You understand? If you have a woman, if you have a child with a whore, guess what? Them your kids. You understand? And we gonna get into it, right? Let's go to Deuteronomy 21:15. Real talk. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 21 and verse 15. Pull it up for them online. All right, when you got it, go ahead and read it. So this goes back to what we was just talking about, right? So if you go lay with a streetwalker and you get her knocked up, and you don't accept the child that you have with her because you hate this streetwalker, you understand? And then you go off and get married to the woman that's making you, ooh, you know what I'm saying? Like how Jacob loved Rachel, you understand? And instead of Leah, you understand? The Lord closed up Rachel's womb and opened up Leah's. You understand? Because he was treating them unfairly. But if you end up having we about to read it. Go ahead. So this is dealing with a man having more than one wife. When you got to go ahead and read it.
This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 21 verse 15. If a man have two wives, one be loved and another hated.
You hear that? So if having multiple wives was not lawful, why would, because this is what book is this in?
Deuteronomy.
So that's a part of the law. It's 5 books of Moses, a part of the law. You know what I'm saying? And sin is transgression of the law, right? So there is a law for if you have more than one wife. The practical concept of this, you got more than one baby mama. You got a baby mama that you love and a baby mama that you hate. You understand? Keep reading.
And they have borne him children, both the beloved and the hated. And if the firstborn son be hers that was hated, verse 16, then it shall be, will he make his sons to inherit that which he hath, that he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated, which is indeed the firstborn.
Right? So you cannot say that ain't my child. You understand? The child that you rejected, that child is indeed the true firstborn. And all the inheritance and rights, you understand? Because remember, according to the definition that was read, if a person has a child outside of the confines of an ecclesiastical marriage, that child is considered a bastard and has no rights to inheritance, no rights to titles, no rights to land, no rights to name, right? That's not what the scripture says. The scripture says if a man has two wives, one loved and one hated, that one that you hated happened to be a one night stand, and you left them suds in the washing machine, brother. Slack you understand? And you ended up, going half on the baby. And even though you deny that child, when it comes time, when either when you're setting up your trust or when you die, if that child comes and says that he is the legitimate firstborn and you just didn't accept him and it's to be proven, that child has all rights to your name, title, and lands if he choose be, because that is how the Lord would have it be. This is why you need to be very meticulous about who you lie and copulate with. You understand? Because if this was the mindset that everyone had, that the woman that I potentially have a son with or a child with, that person can inherit everything. And imagine we didn't all seen or have crazy stories of bad relationships with baby daddies or bad relationship with baby mothers, and it's a nightmare. Now just imagine that. Just imagine, you done worked hard all your life. You become a millionaire, or you inherit land from your family. Your family had 200 acres of land and your cut of it is your own 40 acres. Imagine that man and his child having rights to the land, or this woman and her child having rights to the land. Well, you need to imagine it, brother, because if you do, that'll stop you from making a futile mistake. Sister, that will stop you from making a futile mistake. You have to ask the tough questions. You understand? It isn't just about, sunshine and rainbows and how this person makes you feel. You understand? You are literally making an alliance with two families, right? There should be a benefit in the person that you're aligning yourself with. What does that person give to you that, you can't necessarily give to yourself? What are you giving to that person that they can't necessarily give to themselves? How do y'all add to one another? We need to get back to this, right? Okay. Somebody says something in the chat. Oh yeah, brother, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. All right, let's go. Let's get another example of this. Let's go to Exodus chapter 21 and 10. Hold on. Let me pull it up online for them so they can read along with you. Let's see. Zoom in. 21 and 10. And you're going to read 10 and 11. When you got to go ahead and read it.
There's the book of Exodus, chapter 21, verse 11, 10.
Yeah,
verse 10.
Chapter 21, verse 10. And you're going to read to 11.
If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish.
Right. So that's another thing, right? if you have a wife, right, and y'all live in a $400,000 home with 3 cars, 3-car garage, 3.5 bath with a pool in the back, you cannot downgrade your wife, you understand, to an apartment so you can take on another wife. That's wicked out. You can't diminish what you've built in giving in a custom way of life to your wife just because you want another one. No, however amount of sex that she was giving her a week, the shelter that she has, you know, if you was paying for the insurance, you understand, if whatever you was paying for to take care of her, you can't stop it because now you got another bill. Matter of fact, that's how you need to think about it. You take on another wife out, it's another bill. It's the biggest bill you can have. I'm trying to tell you, brother. You understand? That's why the scripture says everything that's lawful is an expedient. Now, that's not to say a brother can't have more than one, but you may not be that brother. You understand? You may just need one. You know what I'm saying? Or you may need none. You might not need a wife because you can't take care of yourself. Right? You know what I'm saying? You don't know how to you know, you're not stable. You know what I'm saying? You know, you don't know how to keep a house clean. Go ahead, sis. Oh, give it a mic so they can hear online.
To like a woman that's marrying a man that already has wives, you can't be expecting that. You know what I'm saying? So you have people come into it with the wrong mindset. Like, okay, so now he gonna be paying this and he gonna be no. You supposed. How were you surviving before you had this man?
Absolutely, right. So you don't go like, okay. Remember, the marriage, for lack of a better word, it's supposed to be an alliance, right? So remember, before he took you on as a wife, you was taking care of yourself, sis. You understand? You had an apartment, you had a car, you had car insurance, you understand? You had groceries, you know, you had your own gym membership, and you was already taking yourself on vacations, right? Okay? So just because you come together, that does not mean that he's solely responsible for that, right? And then this is also why you court someone, right? The first question that you should ask outside of my chart information, what does marriage with you look like? You should ask the man that. What does marriage with you look like? Can you paint that picture for me? I understand that you got a wife and you know the school is your first wife. How do I fit in that macrocosm of a situation and universe that you got going on? You know, how do I revolve? How will I fit into this thing that you call the house of One YAHANNA? You understand? How what is my role? Like, you know, can you describe to me what that looks like? Like, give me a week, you know. So I mean, what you're gonna do day for day? You're gonna do week for week? You're gonna do what? You're gonna do 3 and 3 and have a day to yourself? You know, do we all live together, or do I have a place, she has a place, and you have your own place, right? What? Just, you know, break it down to me. You know, or will you be helping out with bills in my household? I mean, I see that you help out with bills over there, but you know, I mean, if it's not, it's okay. I just need to know what your requirements are, so I don't go into this thing blind, so I know what to expect. See, these are the type of tough questions that you have to ask. You understand? And when you ask these questions and sex is not involved, guess what? It's okay. You understand? It's okay when that person says, you know what, this isn't for me. Right? No harm, no foul. Right? And both of your honor and dignity is intact. Right? Versus you lying with someone because you lied to someone, right? You go to the club, you bump old girl down, you tell them like, yeah, I'm out here with my brothers and stuff like that, then y'all wake up next morning, oh, I forgot to mention we married. She gonna be like, nigga, what? No, we ain't. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no ring on my finger. I ain't married. This was just, a good time, not a long time, baby. That's what she's saying to you. You know what I'm saying? So this is why you have to take your time, right? So your duty, and you know what the duty is, if you giving it 2 or 3 times a week, guess what, brother? Do benevolence. She want that 3 times a week. That's why the scripture says that a man should not multiply wives to himself, that it would take his heart away from the Lord. That's not saying that a man can't have more than one, but it says to multiply, right? Like Solomon, right? Solomon had 700 out. Like, brother, listen. If you lay with one every day of the week, you wouldn't get through all of them. You understand? It's not even 700 days in the year. Huh? Listen, I'm going to tell you something. Just be wise, brother. You know what I'm saying? But most importantly, do your thing. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to be mad at you, brother. I'm going to be like, congratulations. You know what I'm saying? When you call me for counsel, be like, well, brother, I mean, you didn't seek counsel beforehand. You want counsel now? Hey, I'll listen. It's going to be a tough sell. Just like it was a tough sell when you woke up the next morning and you told her that y'all was married and she looked at you like you was crazy. You know what I'm saying? So have these tough conversations on the front end, right? Okay. Read the next verse, Zach.
Verse 11, and if he do not these things unto her, then shall she go out free without money.
Right. So if you don't do these things and she chooses to leave, she can leave. It's just without money. Right. Exactly. That part, right? Oh, I got a question. Slakia, sis. Auntie Coco asked online, what is I'm gonna say something that says, what is his responsibility to the other rib that he takes on? Is responsible for her in the same manner as his first rib. Sis, that is what you guys work out. This is why the courtship is so important. You have to talk. And when you talk, it shouldn't be about how I'm gonna knock your boots. You understand? The reason, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I mean, the school says, it's a minimum of 6 months. I think you should court somebody for a year. There's no way that you can get to know somebody in 6 months. It's impossible. I mean, unless you've known this person your entire life, and then down the line, y'all decide that y'all want to court. Okay, cool. You know the person. You grew up around the person. You know their family. You kind of know their habits. You know what I'm saying? You know a little something about them. You know what I'm saying? That's different. But I'm going to tell you something, it's a difference between a man that you're courting and then the man after you lie with him. It's a difference between the woman that you're courting and the woman after you lie with her. 2 completely different people. You understand? When they get comfortable, You know, when y'all sitting up there watching TV and he or she let one out. You know what I'm saying? Just let one loose. You know what I'm saying? When they eating and they belching at the dinner table. You understand? You know, they picking their teeth at the table. You know what I'm saying? You find out that this person had what they call it sleep apnea. You know what I'm saying? And they snore horrendously. When he breathes, when he sleeps, the walls come in. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, one y'all.
Yeah, just in general, right? Some things that happen. I'm speaking for a friend.
I know what that means. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, like sometimes the man and the woman, right? Speaking in general on that, they'll renege and go back on the things that they said that they were cool with while you were, courting.
Right.
Like I'm cool with, you having multiple women. And then I'm not cool with you having multiple women after you slept with them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and vice versa with, both, sides.
Right. So this is why it is important for you to have these tough conversations in the beginning. And also why Captain Zaryak says you should never marry a woman that you have not argued with. Sis, you should never marry a man that you have not argued with. You don't know if that brother, when you bridle off your tongue, if he don't smack you across your face. You don't know if when he's met with some type of obstacle, or she's met with some type of obstacle, if they go to the bottle or they start doing drugs, right? You don't know if they're violent. You don't know if that person's a liar, a thief. Go ahead, brother.
No, the anger be 10 times worse when he ain't getting none.
Oh, listen, brother. Let me listen. That's what I'm telling you. Like when you lie with someone, you're shrouded by what you would call love, but it's really lust. You understand? When you don't lie with the person, you still have some wits about you. You haven't been wooed, right? Because that is sex can be a form of manipulation. You know what I'm saying? So when you're not able to be manipulated so easily by the wiles of your lower nature, right? You need to be a thinking man. You need to be a thinking woman. It's chess, not checkers. Because understand this, the choice that you make in a mate is something that you have to live with for the rest of your life, right? The only way that this is over is if one of you commit adultery and sin, right? So if you hate the person and you want to separate, okay, cool. But you got to come back together, right? You can separate from a time, but you have to come back together because scripture says, unless you just don't burn with passion. Now, if you cool and you don't burn with passion, you don't desire sex, hey, cool. But if you do, it says that you are to desire your husband. Bottom line, right? Okay, let's see what time it is. I'm gonna get one more scripture before we get up out of here. All right, let's get the definition of what adultery is, right? Let's go to Leviticus. And you know what? I'll finish this next week. It's a lot to go over. Yeah. So let's go to Leviticus 20 and 10. Hold on, let me go there. Form online so they can read along with you. Leviticus 20 and 10. Hold on, brother. Hold on. See, 20. Hold on, let me zoom in for him. All right, go ahead.
It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 20, verse 10. And the man that commit adultery with another man's wife, even he that commit adultery with his neighbor's wife, and the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death.
Right. So the definition of adultery is a man that commits adultery with another man's wife. Right. So the only way that you can commit adultery is not sleeping with another woman, it's sleeping with another woman that belongs to another man. Right. And for women, it's sleeping with a man that is not your husband. Right. Oh, sis said, thank you. No sweat, sis. Ayanda bar. All right. Let's get a let's do Deuteronomy 22 and 22. Oh, I see I got a couple of questions in the chat. All right, I'll get to them. Before we get up out of here.
Deuteronomy.
Hold on, let me go. Let me get there with you, brother, so they can read along with you online. Because this is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, brother. You know, we ain't just gonna say what we think it is. We gonna show it to you so you can read it yourself. You know, if you don't have your Bible, don't worry about it. We gonna put it on the screen for you. All right, go ahead.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22, verse 22. If a man be found lying with a woman married to a husband, then they shall both of them die. Both the man that lay with the woman and the woman. So shall thou put away evil from Israel.
All right. So there it is again. And if you don't believe, oh, that's just the Old Testament, let's read it in the New Testament. Let's go to Romans chapter 7 and 3. And then I'm going to answer these questions, and we're going to get up out of here, and then we'll pick up here where I left off next week.
This is the book of Romans.
Hold on, brother. Look, before you read, the first question you want to ask is everybody there. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate the eagerness, but we want everybody to be able to read along with you online. All right, go ahead.
It's the book of Romans, chapter 7, verse 3. So then, if while her husband live, she be married to another man, she shall be called an adulteress.
Okay, so this is it. So say, for instance, you get separated, you and your husband, y'all separate, right? Because y'all can't get along, because if y'all can't keep your hands to yourself. Y'all are volatile towards one another, right? And you think because you separated from your husband, y'all been separated for like 2 years, y'all ain't talked, y'all ain't seen each other, and you go out, you know what I'm saying, and you having a good time, and a brother try and mac you out your drawers, right? And if you lie with him, sis, you're separated, you're not single, you're still married. So if your husband is still alive and you lie with another man that's not your husband, sis, you're an adulteress. You're committing adultery. All right? Keep reading.
Verse 4. Wherefore, my brethren, ye also are become dead.
Okay, that's it. We good. All right, let's see. I had a couple of questions in here. Let's see what the brother said. Jacob set the precedent for the woman to follow in being chosen by a man. Well, I mean, that precedent was set way before Jacob, brother. Way before Jacob. All right. Gaala had a question. He said, if I may, sir, so you saying the second wife is not entitled to what the first wife is receiving, but it's what's agreed upon. Absolutely. That is considered a prenup, damn near. Go ahead. Hand Sister Mike.
Something that I have said to sister, or maybe possibly, well, all women are. I mean, this is a possibility,
right, for
your husband to get another wife, even if you're the only one right now. So when he takes on another,
you good, it goes in and out. You good.
When the second rib or what it's impossible to treat both women the same because they have different needs.
Absolutely.
That's just my perspective of it.
Absolutely. Give her a hand. All right. So Gaala. So It's what is agreed upon. So when you're courting and she has certain requirements, right? You're either able to meet those requirements or you're not. When y'all are courting, you have requirements. Either she's able to meet those requirements or she's not. It's what y'all agree upon. This is the confines of y'all's marriage. This is why I always tell sisters to worry about your houses. You understand? Don't worry about what's going on in another house. That's not your agreement. This is your agreement. Focus on the agreement and the confines of that agreement that you cultivated, right? You worrying about an agreement or a contract that someone else has abided in. That has nothing to do with you. They have different terms and agreements than yours. You settled for this. So if you settle for sardines and hamburger helper, and the new one said, "No, I ain't eating that. I want some filet mignon and I want some halibut," and that's what they agreed upon, you can't get mad. That's what you agreed upon. That's what you settled for, right? So you have to work these things out. That is the purpose of courtship, to know what you will and won't tolerate, right? Also, to know a person's health issues, know a person's triggers. You understand? Know a person's financial intelligence, their financial security. You understand? These are the things that you have to contemplate. Go ahead, Sapar.
So, Salaki, if I may, sir. So, really, when it comes to marriage, there's really not a ideal situation to marriage. Is just
the ideal situation of marriage is what you make it to be. You know what I'm saying? That's why the scripture says, you know, the bedroom isn't defiled. So, you know, if you like to wear, you know, Power Ranger mask, you know, and you know, you be the Black Ranger and she be the Pink Ranger, you know, and y'all just some freaks, you know. That's what y'all into. You know what I'm saying? But that's what y'all agreed upon. You know, if y'all agree upon 3 trips a year, y'all just some passport stamping Negroes. You know what I'm saying? So what the ideal marriage is what you agree upon, right? And you were still, I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, that's what I'm saying, because I was saying, like, as the ideal marriage, like, you know, like we could agree on some things, but as we get older, like that idea can, you know, grow and go into other things, like other things that wasn't from the foundation of the relationship.
Absolutely, right? And we're going to get into that next class, which is the most important part of marriage: communication, right? There's no success in marriage without successful communication. You have to communicate, right? If you're offended, you have to communicate that. If you have needs that aren't being met, you need to communicate that. Look, my wife will tell you, I have quality control checks all the time. It'll be a year and a half. Are you happy? Are you satisfied in your marriage? Do you feel that there's something that I'm neglecting that you need that I'm not giving you? Right? Do you feel disrespected? Do you feel honored? Right? What do you need that you feel that you're not getting? That's your time to speak. You should constantly be doing quality control checks, both of y'all, in your marriage. And she does it to me randomly, right? Because like you said, as you age and as you mature, you grow and you change. Your interests at 18 aren't the same at 25. Your interests at 25 isn't the same at 30, 40, 50. I'm going to tell you something about the woman that you court ain't the same woman that you marry. The same woman that you marry ain't the same woman that's going through pregnancy. The same woman that's going through pregnancy isn't the same woman that's going through postpartum. The same woman that's going through postpartum isn't the same woman that's pre and post menopause. So you should always be doing quality checks. All right, you marrying 6 different women. You understand? And she can change at the drop of a dime. All right?
So
Postpartum is real. Look it up. Go ahead.
So is it safe to say that marriage is kind of like how the word it is constantly flowing? It's a stream.
Always.
Right.
Y'all are 2 living beings, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're gonna continue to go. I got another question. Hold on, let me see. Lamia, Shalom, Yahweh. When a sister is at odds with her husband, who is the authority figure in the situation, the camp leader or the husband? Let me tell you something that General Muhammad told me. Marriage counseling is just that. It's counseling, right? It's not mandatory. You can come to counseling and I give you advice. You can be like, Salaki, sir, fuck your advice. It's your house, right? Now, it would be wise for you to heed to the counsel of the men that are above you, but it's your house, huh? And if you don't want to go to counsel, and it's the reason why I say that, right? Now, there's a type of woman that comes into this school, right, that uses counsel as a weapon to try and usurp her husband's authority. That is not what counsel is. You understand? Your counsel is not, oh yeah, I'm gonna get your daddy to get you in line. No, that ain't what that is. You understand? Counseling is to help y'all come together and to better communicate. You are still the authority. I can't tell you how to handle your wife, but I can advise you. Right now, the authority switches when it goes from marriage counsel to trespass counsel. Right now, that's something completely different. All right, you understand? Like, when your wife brings you to counsel and she's trying to work on y'all marriage and it comes out, that you're an alcoholic. You understand? And you get the advice, hey, you should probably not drink, or you should, slow down. Only drink during feast days, right? Because, the generals, the captains, your camp leaders, they've seen it many times. They've seen the same story. Because if you get drunk enough, and your woman bruises your ego enough, you could beat her ass. And I'm going to tell you, if you assault your wife and we go to counsel, we're not going to stand with you, You understand? You go to jail, hey, Lord be with you. You understand? We have zero tolerance for that in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Now, when that situation happens, I'm going to show you how much of an authority I can be. You understand? And General Muhammad is going to show you the power that he serves. So in that situation, the authority the authority shifts when it goes from marriage counsel to trespass counsel, right? If it's a legitimate trespass, if there's violence, if there's criminal activity, if there's drug activity, you've proven yourself not to be a trustworthy leader of your household. Now I have to dictate terms in your household because you can't control yourself or she can't control yourself. You understand? But all of that is decided when counsel happens. But in marriage counsel, you're the authority, all right? You're the head of your household. I'm just your camp leader. I'm just, you want to use an old word for it, I'm just an elder. right? I'm the person that has been set charge over you. Captain Isupk is the person that's been set charge over me. Captain Khan is the person that's been set charge over him. General Q is the person that's been set charge over him. General Muhammad is the person that's been set charge over him. And Commander General YAHANNA is the person that's been set charge over him. There's always and Christ is the person that's been set in charge over Commander General YAHANNA, and the Most High is the person that's been set charge over Christ. There's checks and balance for everybody. You understand? Everybody has an authority that they have to deal with when they are proven to be an unfit leader that abuses their power and authority. I pray you understand. In the words of General Muhammad, right? I think I had one more question. Let's see. This was good, having an understanding of what needs to be discussed in courtship. What is important to both parties. Oh, absolutely, sis. You know what I'm saying? This is something that everybody needs to understand. And we're going to continue this next class. It might be, maybe 3-4 classes, right? Because this is something that needs to be spoken about, right? I think that's all the questions. All right, with that, we're going to say Amajin, which means to stand. Sar, which means to turn. We're going to face the east. We're going to do the Lord's Prayer, first in Hebrew, then in English. Repeat after me. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakwatch, Taba'ah, Ratazayka, Hayah, Aisha, Baratazah, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Neptananawa, Lacham, Kal, Yawam, Wasalak Nawa, Kabawak Nawa, Kasalak Nawa, Kabawak Yanawa, Wala'ah, Kabya Ayanawa, Banasaya 1, Abal, Hawashayanawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Waha'Allah, Wahata Para, La'awalamyum, Aman. In the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Sar, turn and face the front. We'll give a courtesy salute to the brothers, then to the sisters. Individual, Mighty Shabbat, Maju, Rock, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah Brakatah, Yadamata, Sar, turn and face sister, individual, Mighty Shabbat, Maju, Rock, Yahweh Shema Bashim Yahweh Shah, Yadamata, dismissed.